Hi friends, welcome to the Unit 3, Day 1. This particular unit is about polynomial and rational functions. Polynomial functions are ones that you spent a lot of time on in Algebra 2. Rational functions are the functions where you have a variable in the denominator. And we're going to jump into the graphing part of this particular chapter, the graphing and quadratics. Quadratics are, remember, the x squareds, and talking about the different forms of them. For many of you, this will probably be a repeat of the later part of Algebra 1 and a good part of Algebra 2. However, it's good to note a few of the things as we go through. The three forms that we can have a quadratic equation in are standard vertex and intercept form. Obviously, they have their benefits. For most of this, what we do in this course, we're going to just look at the vertex form from when we graph, just because it's a lot easier to look at when we're graphing. So let's jump into the three different forms. Standard form is going to be your y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And in this case, a cannot be 0. If a is 0, then you don't have a quadratic. You would have a linear or a constant, depending on if b is 0 as well. Vertex form, this is where we really nail in with the graphing part. This is going to be y equals... Here we have a, and then parentheses, x minus h, quantity squared, plus k, where h and k is your vertex. And then intercept form, this is going to be y equals, a lot of different ways to notate this. Essentially, we have our a in front, and then we have our two different values that we have for intercepts. So it'll be x minus and then some value. In this case, I'm going to use another variable as a placeholder to show this. So we're going to do x minus p and x minus q. There are different ways to notate intercept form. That's just one of them. Again, if you notice that there's a in all of these, and a represents kind of a different transformation that can happen to the graphs. It talks about if the graph is reflected, if the graph is stretched, shrink, depending on that. Just note that a lot of the times in what we do, we're going to use vertex form for graphing because it gives us our vertex. Intercept form tells us where we cross the x-axis. And standard form is what you see most common, just because it's kind of a streamlined way to write it. So I do want to point out intercept form, a way of thinking intercept form is if you just think of it as this is the factored form. So we've already done factoring, we've done it previously. So intercept form is your factored form. And then vertex form gives us a vertex. Standard form is just kind of the normal way that you see equations written when they're presented for you. Join me in the next video as I go over example 1, graphing in standard form.